So in this video, I wanted to take a quick look at the Faber-Castell Perfect Pencil. And this is this pencil case or pencil extender, whatever you want to call it. And it's sold in two different versions. This is the premium one. It's the Graf von Faber-Castell. And this one is sold basically from like $275 and up. Up meaning it has, it goes to the stainless steel version as opposed to the kind of standard one. And comes with a fancy pencil like this. It's a sort of like an executive type gift you might find in that high-end Graf von Faber-Castell line. It's also sold as this, and this one is I think about $15, maybe $14, and you get the standard Faber-Castell 9000 pencil, and then you have essentially that same component, but it's all plastic, as you could see. And normally this isn't something I would buy, but I randomly landed on one of these on I think eBay a couple of years ago, and I picked it up for absurdly cheap, relative to the retail price. And it just seemed like a fun thing to pick up. I've been using it, on and off. It's kind of a little bit on the fancy side for me, but it seemed like a lot of fun to try out. And I had never used anything from Graf von Faber-Castell before. In fact, I was really more intrigued by the pencil itself, this Perfect Pencil, than I was by the actual case. But when I landed on the case for a great deal, I just went ahead and picked it up. Okay, so what's the deal with the Perfect Pencil case? You basically have this component right here. In this case, it's called the Platinum version, and I bought it used, so I don't have a perfect understanding of what it is. It's also sold in a sort of an all black version, like a matte black, which looks quite cool, but I've never seen in person. And this will protect the tip of your pencil, kind of presses on there in sort of a really nice way. I'm not sure if it must have a little collar in there that clamps it down onto the pencil. It works with pretty much any pencil. That's not a problem there. And let's see how many pencils I have access to. So the pencil itself is not really the key, although Faber does sell this special pencil with it. And these are quite expensive. You could buy I think it's like 5 of these for $50 or something like that. Has a spring-loaded clip. And then the secret to it is in here, you have a pencil sharpener. You can see that right there. There's no way to catch the shavings, obviously, but you will put the pencil in here and you have your built-in pencil sharpener, which will kick the tires on in a minute. Inside there, you could see it's just that little collar at the lower, and then this piece clicks in right here using this. It looks like just a little C-ring right there. You probably just make it out. Yeah, see, it's a C-ring. Really nice little satisfying click, and it won't pop out on its own. Shiny here, nice and smooth. Some knurling right here. You have your fancy Graf von Faber-Castell logo. Down here it says, there you go, Graf von Faber-Castell, Germany. This is the Platinum version. It's not made of platinum, it's called Platinum. If this was the sterling silver version, it would probably say, 875 or whatever they say for sterling silver. Here is that, the normal version, the $15 version. You have a really nice pencil. This is the Faber-Castell 9000. This is sort of their standard pencil. Comes in a B, so a little bit softer than normal. It's pre-shortened so that with the cap on, you have the normal length. This body is entirely plastic. No spring-loaded clip. It's just a metal clip. It is definitely a little bit stiffer, but it works fine. It has a bump out here, which will allow it to go over your, pocket. Some grip here, which this one has some knurling down here, but it's not really functional. It's very smooth. It just looks nice. This actually has some grip here, no knurling. And then up here you see it says Faber-Castell. You do have the sharpener here as well. Clearly it's a similar design, but it is all plastic aside from the blade. And the blade is the same shape as before. And then no fancy little metal C-ring up there. It just pops in with a friction fit, much less satisfying. The top is pretty similar with the knurling, but this one is clearly convex, where this one is concave. And this one will stand up, this one will not. The two are pretty similar one, costs like 20x what the other one costs, which is pretty interesting. You get the upgraded pencil, but the pencil is clearly a fraction of the cost of the overall model. I will say that that Perfect pencil is very cool. It has this sort of bumpy design. You get a really nice high quality wood, although not like blown away by the wood quality. You get a really fancy piece of metal right here, which is definitely non-standard. That's very cool. It's a little bit small. It's kind of undersized relative to a standard pencil, which is something I'm not really understanding how they made that design choice, but it is quite cool. And you can buy more of these pencils. You could actually buy them on their own. It's called the Faber-Castell Perfect Pencil, and they're expensive, but they are available without having to go ahead and get the full-on fancy case. The sharpeners, I will say, are not great. So there's a convenience factor to having the sharpener involved, but it just doesn't really work that great. It's okay, but it's definitely not a great sharpener. And then again, you have all this, you have basically no place to put it, which is just like, I find it to be very inconvenient. I don't really like sharpeners that don't have, sorry, I'm looking for a pencil, that don't have collection. The lead gets all over, it smears, it's just sort of a mess. I would have liked to seen some thought put into that. Even just a little bit of collection here would have been fine, but I understand why it's not there. It just becomes a little bit of an issue. And the sharpener it's okay. It's definitely not great. Here we go here, and let's see if we have, there you go. Sharpeners are nice and sharp, but they are, they're just not that great. They're fine. When you're done with it, put it back in here, figure out what to do with your mess, and you are good to go. As far as a tip protector goes, they both hold on really well. No problems with that. The metal one is quite heavy, so it's kind of, you don't want to you can't hold a pencil like this. It's quite awkward. You could hold it like this if you want to use it to just play with or point things, or obviously put it in your pocket. It works for that. And it's kind of a nice and luxurious way to put a pencil in your pocket, I guess. This one is, again, a more practical way to keep a pencil on you and with you. Functionally, they both work the same. The plastic one doesn't hold the pencil any better or worse, and it's a lot lighter, which I think is preferable. And then you don't have to worry about marking up this piece or scarring this with your laptop or something, your keys. This is, I would say, more of something you keep on your desk, and it's a nice thing to have on a fancy desk, kind of like just, placed in a nice way as a piece, like a toy or an executive type toy. I can't really see people carrying this around with you, where the $15 version is definitely something you could throw in your bag to protect the tip. I will say that this version did break. So I haven't been that rough with it, and yeah, I have carried it around with me, but I think I put too big of a pencil in there, or maybe I pushed it in too hard, and it cracked right here. And this bottom piece, which I just dropped, actually came out. And this piece was unscarred, but it didn't break, it didn't crack or anything, but it did come out, which it shouldn't really come out of this piece, but it only was able to come out because there was a crack in this right here. I'm not really sure what happened there, but it cracked, and now this piece, it fits in now, but it does rotate and it can come out, which it shouldn't. So I guess if you do go with the cheaper version, there's a chance it'll crack over time. That is, a flaw of going with plastic, but you could buy a whole bunch more of these before you go ahead and buy one of these. So ultimately, I think the Perfect Pencil which is what they call both of them, it's a fun product. I like kind of what Faber-Castell is going for here, kind of doing some innovation around the pencil. I found this piece to be just really not to my liking. And it's not that I don't like luxury products. I went to it with an open mind. For me, it's just a little too heavy, a little too fancy. The sharpener doesn't work any better than the cheaper one. And it just seems like it's a bit over the top. I will say that this pencil is quite cool, and I do like it. Probably do another video about the pencil, but just so we get through it with and a sample. I don't want to do a video without any writing in it at all. This is the Faber-Castell Perfect pencil. It's fine. The pencils, this is about the wood and the quality and the craftsmanship relative to a normal pencil, not about that lead or that graphite writing core. That is not very fancy. And this is the FC9000. This is a B, so it will appear to be a little darker than the standard one, or the perfect pencil, which is an HB. And you can see it's just a shade darker. And this pencil is, I would say, probably from a writing standpoint, just as good. It doesn't erase that well, but that is more a function of it being a B. As you get to the darker leads, they don't erase as well. And it's fine. The pencils, this is about the wood and the quality and the craftsmanship relative to a normal pencil, not about that lead or that graphite writing core. That is not very fancy. And this is the FC9000. This is a B, so it will appear to be a little darker than the standard one, or the perfect pencil, which is an HB. And you can see it's just a shade darker. And this pencil is, I would say, probably from a writing standpoint, just as good. It doesn't erase that well, but that is more a function of it being a B. As you get to the darker leads, they don't erase as well. This one has the smaller eraser and the fancy ferrule, but higher quality eraser. But then you have to feel a little bit guilty when you do any erasing with this, which you're messing up this beautiful pencil, but kind of is what it is. It comes with the territory. Anyway, this is just a fun experiment in the world of luxury stationery, which is not something we dabble in much at this channel, but it was a fun pickup, and I was glad to test it out, especially given that I was able to find this for a pretty affordable price. And I'm guessing these things carry their resale value really well, so it's probably an experiment that won't cost me much in the long run. Thanks for watching.